Who's the greatest point guard of all time? If you are a basketball fan, this is a question you no doubt heard of, read, or even discussed with friends on more than one occasion. And while the consensus answer has been Magic Johnson for a while, other players have certainly narrowed that gap. With his tremendous size and vision and passing acumen, Johnson's dime dropping was simply supreme. In spite of the position's evolution from the table setter to do-it-all, the point guard remains the most important position in the NBA, and one where we will continue to see greatness at in the years and decades to come. That said, let's take a look at the top 10 point guards of all time. Make sure if you love your mama, go ahead and like this video and make sure you subscribe. At number 10, Russell Westbrook. Career averages of 23 points, 8.3 assists, 7 rebounds, 1.7 steals a game. Notable honors: 2016-2017 MVP, 9-time All-Star, 8 All-NBA selection, 2-time scoring champion. Years ago, Oscar Robertson standing as the only player in NBA history to average a triple-double seemed unbeatable, but then came Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has now done it in each of the last 3 seasons, and when you adjust the numbers from both players so that the pace and playing time line up, Westbrook's achievement is even more impressive. However, over his last 3 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Russ averaged 26.8 points, 10.6 boards, and 10.4 assists. Russ is a superstar scorer, rebounder, and playmaker with possibly the highest motor of anyone in this list. He also might be the most athletic, and that gives him the edge he needs to be so dominant. Yes, some of the criticism about him chasing numbers is fair, and his efficiency and poor decision making at times prevents him from being mentioned with the top point guards. In fact, Russ is among the game's most decisive players. In a poll that asked, is Russell Westbrook a top 10 PG of all time, 56% of voters said no, but I gotta give it to him. At number 9, Steve Nash. Career averages 14.3 points, 8.5 assists, 3 rebounds, 1.4 threes. Notable honors: 2-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, Hall of Famer. In general, a coach would tell you that part of a point guard's job is to run the offense. There's a reason the floor general cliche exists, even if it's not quite as important in today's mostly positionless game. In the early 2000s, Steve Nash was the NBA's premier court general. From 98-99 to 03-04, he was the starting point guard for the Dallas Mavericks, and his team's offensive rating was 109, and that was first in the league by a huge margin. Over his next 8 seasons leading the Phoenix Suns, his team was first again. In that stretch, the gap was even bigger. For more than a decade, if Nash was your point guard, you were almost guaranteed a top-tier offense. His knack for getting into the paint and finding cutters or shooters at the exact right moment made him one of the league's best and most prolific assist men. He's 3rd all-time in assists, 9th in assists per game, and 5th in assist percentage. But what made him truly devastating was his shooting. Based on points above average from 3, Nash is 5th best 3-point shooter of all time, trailing only Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Kyle Korver, and Stephen Curry. That accuracy from all over the floor opened up assist opportunities for the passing maestro. As he came off of screens from Dirk, Amari Stoudemire, or any other big, defenders knew they had to respect his pull-up, which made it more difficult to help onto the rolling or popping big. Nash's dead-eye shooting is a big part of why Nowitzki got so many open looks and why Stoudemire had so many throwdowns. With his combination of shooting and passing, Nash was an offense unto himself. At number 8, Jason Kidd. Career averages 12.6 points, 8.7 assists, 6.3 rebounds, 1.9 steals, 1.4 threes. Notable honors: 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 94-95 Rookie of the Year, 9-time All-Defensive Team selection, Hall of Famer. Long before Russ made the triple-double an everyday thing, Jason Kidd helped popularize them. If you combine the regular season and playoffs, Kidd had a whooping 118 triple-doubles, which only trails Robertson, Magic Johnson, and Westbrook. That all-around game made Kidd one of the league's top point guards for nearly 20 years. By the time he retired, he had racked up 10 All-Star appearances, 9 All-Defensive selections, and 6 All-NBA selections, and 5 assist titles. and he cemented his legacy as one of the greatest point guards of all time by playing a crucial role on the Nowitzki 2011 title team. By that time, Kidd had undergone a fairly radical transformation. Over his last 6 seasons, he embraced the floor generalship and shot a 37.8% from deep. Where he was once the league's premier fast break player, Kidd has evolved into being a tremendous spot-up shooter. The man they once called Ason because he had no J is now a 40% three-point shooter. He once knew all the angles and transition, now he knows all the angles in the half court, said Mike Prada of SB Nation. At number 7, Chris Paul. Career averages 18.5 points, 9.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 2.2 steals. Notable honors: 10-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA selection, 05-06 Rookie of the Year, 9-time Defensive Team selection. Chris Paul is a perfect point guard and would be higher on this list if he managed to capture an NBA title. Now, he still has some time, but his days are increasingly numbered. CP3 could lock you down on one end and dominate the offensive end with scoring and passing. The classic definition of a point guard, orchestrating offense and shooting when necessary, said ESPN's J.A. Adandi of CP3. Paul's ability to put the ball on time and target to shooters and alley-oop threats did wonders for the careers of David West, J.J. Redick, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin, just to name a few. And like Nash, Paul's prowess as a shooter forces defenders to play him tight in pick and rolls. Over the course of his career, CP3 has shot 47.1% on 2-pointers from 5 feet and out. As he turns the corner on post ball screen, Paul knows exactly how to get to his spots on the floor. He knows how far he needs to prod to get a 3 or alley-oop, and he knows when he has to pull up for that reliable mid-range shot. CP3 is a cerebral assassin who can pick apart any defense that's thrown at him. At number 6, John Stockton. Career averages 13.1 points, 10.5 assists, 2.7 rebounds, 2.2 steals. Notable honors: 10-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA selection, 5-time All-Defensive Team selection, Hall of Famer. John Stockton is number 1 in all-time assists and steals, and it ain't even close. The distance between Stockton's 15,806 assists and Kidd's 12,091 is about the same distance between Kidd and 11th place Andre Miller. Whoa. There's a similar gap in steals, as Stockton's lead over Kidd is around the same as Kidd's buffer between himself and 11th place Alvin Robertson. And with regard to those assists, no, they weren't just the product of home cooking from the scorekeeper, as that long-running myth exists. I don't like saying never, but ain't nobody catching that, said Chris Paul. Stockton's unreal totals are the product of a nearly unparalleled durability and an excellent feel for the pick and roll. If you want to teach aspiring ballers the pick and roll, just put on tape of Stockton and Karl Malone and walk away, said Complex's Angel Diaz. At number 5, Jerry West. Career averages 27 points, 6.7 assists, 5.8 rebounds. Notable honors: 14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, MVP, scoring champion, 5-time All-Defensive selection, Finals MVP. Now, some may consider Jerry West a shooting guard, but Basketball Reference has him listed as a point guard for 12 of his 14 seasons, and his 9.7 assists per game in 1971-72 led the NBA. Either way, West is more than a legend. He's the logo. As relentlessly competitive and prolific as Jordan, there's a reason West's silhouette is the NBA's logo, said ESPN's Rob Peterson of West. And that reason is West's dominance for over a decade of the league's formative years. Beyond leading the NBA in assists in 1972, West also won a scoring title with 31.2 points in 1969-70. Generally upped his performance in the playoffs as well. He averaged 40.6 points in the 1965 postseason, and in 5 postseasons from 1965 to 1969, he averaged 32.9. By the time he retired in 1974, West was a 14-time All-Star. He only played 14 seasons, a 12-time All-NBA selection, and a 5-time All-Defensive selection. He won a title in 1972 and was the only Finals MVP to come from a losing team in 1969. There's always a temptation to have players from this era ranked lower on all-time lists, or even excluded altogether. They played in a league with significantly fewer teams and players. Perhaps the talent level was lower and the game was less evolved. But players like West and Robertson are part of the fabric of the NBA, and though there was less of a basketball landscape for them to dominate, they dominated who was there. At number 4, Oscar Robertson. Career averages 25.7 points, 9.5 assists, 7.5 rebounds. Notable honors: 1963-64 MVP, 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA selection, 60-61 Rookie of the Year, Hall of Famer. Another player from an era most fans are not familiar with, the Big O held down this position for almost 2 decades before Magic came along. And the two legends share plenty of similarities. At 6'5", the Big O had great size for a point guard, especially when compared to others of his time. And like Magic, he racked up triple-doubles at a rate we hadn't seen until Westbrook showed up. Robertson played a total of 1,126 games in the regular season and the playoffs, and he notched triple-doubles in 16.8% of them. LeBron is awesome, MJ was awesome, but I think Oscar Robertson would have kicked them both in the behind. Absolutely, Oscar was awesome. He had brains, he had all the skills, said fellow NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He could rebound and box out guys 4 and 6 inches taller than him. He was ruggedly built, he was fluid, quickness, and he just understood the game. No flair, he just got the job done every night. Said by the man who invented the skyhook. At number 3, Isaiah Thomas. Career averages 19.2 points, 9.3 assists, 3.6 rebounds, 1.9 steals. Notable honors: 1989-90 Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA selection, Hall of Famer. As you make your way down the list, you'll find that Isaiah Thomas's numbers are a little lower than the ones on this list. The point guard was never particularly efficient, but his defense and leadership more than made up for the deficits. Plus, he was on stacked teams with players who were made better by his sheer presence. So in a way, he actually earned more win shares than he produced solely as an individual, wrote Adam Fromo of Bleacher Report. His postseason numbers of 20.4 points, 8.9 assists, and 2.1 steals are unmatched across the league history. Add 12 All-Star appearances, 5 All-NBA selections, 2 titles, and a Finals MVP to that resume, and it ain't hard to find why IT is an all-time great. At number 2, Stephen Curry. Career averages 23.5 points, 6.6 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 3.6 threes, 1.7 steals. Notable honors: 2-time MVP, 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA selection, 2015-16 scoring champion. 10 years into his career, Stephen Curry already has an argument as the best point guard in NBA history, but that shouldn't be all that surprising. He is the most impactful offensive player in terms of what he does to the defense, maybe ever. There are guys, obviously Michael Jordan impacted things. But the way Steph plays, he puts the fear of God into defenses like nobody I've ever seen. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said in 2017, and he played with Jordan. Kerr's absolutely right. His point guard figuratively changes the geometry of the floor. He commands double teams 35 feet from the rim, allowing his teammates to play 4-on-3 on countless possessions over the years. Along with Michael Jordan, Dirk, and a handful of others, Curry is among those exceptionally rare players who have truly changed the game of basketball. At the top of this list is Magic Johnson. Career averages 19.5 points, 11.2 assists, 7.2 rebounds, 1.9 steals. Notable honors: 3-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA selection, Hall of Famer. While some of the numbers might favor Curry, Magic maintains a slight edge in the best point guard of all time debate by virtue of legacy points. Magic has 5 NBA titles compared to Curry's 3, and 3 Finals MVPs compared to Curry's 0. Magic's 12 All-Star appearances are twice as many as Curry's 6. And Magic's 10 All-NBA selections are ahead of Curry's 6. And although Curry ain't done, Magic, he has that throne. No one was more dynamic or magical with the ball in the open court than Irvin Johnson. He lifted the Lakers and transitioned basketball to ethereal levels. He was transcendent, wrote ESPN's Rob Peterson. Decades later, the way Magic controlled the game and manipulated defenders with his division and passing jumps off the screen to this day, and you can definitely see it in today's game with players like LeBron and Luka Doncic. But no one has truly surpassed Magic's level as a passer. In combination with his competitiveness and leadership, that helped Magic take the reins of one of the greatest teams of all time, the Showtime Lakers. Make sure to smash the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, appreciate the view, and as always, thank you for watching.